H Girl 30 here. This is another mini Q&A number 55. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much for sending me these questions. I'm going to try to keep it at the 15-minute limit, so if I don't get to your questions, please, by all means, keep sending them to me. It's going to be transferred to the next Q&A. But let's get started with my questions that I have on Twitter. My first set of questions actually comes from Sheldon Richardson. Better group, Four Horsemen or NWO? Honestly, I like the Four Horsemen for one reason: Ric freaking Flair. Nuff said. I am a fan of Ric Flair. I will always be a fan of Ric Flair. I love Ric Flair. So Four Horsemen all the way. That's just me, man. And okay, my next set of questions on Twitter actually comes from Mr. Griffin. Y'all check out his channel. His channel is awesome. He keeps up with not only pop culture, he also talks about wrestling as well. I think he has a WrestleMania Q&A coming up, so if you guys want to send him some questions, by all means do send it to his YouTube inbox. But let's get started with his set of questions. His first question for me is, if WWE goes through with their main event being Batista versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 30, who do you think it would be the biggest flop ever? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, Randy Orton is pretty good in the ring. Batista is a freaking powerhouse. But the thing is that it's just not interesting to me. Like, it seems like Batista already has the upper hand. Even though Randy Orton's going to give it his all, I don't see Randy Orton winning at all in this one. I see Batista coming out as champ. But like we saw on Raw with the whole Occupy Raw, the biggest moment they ever had in the history of the PG era, I mean, we all know now that it's going to be Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Batista for the belt, which makes it more interesting. And honestly, for those that keep saying that I guess that all the chances pretty much don't fall on Daniel Bryan, I don't believe that. I feel like Daniel Bryan is going to be a sure bet of winning this, because let's face it, the fans are practically up in arms. The WWE Universe wants to see Daniel Bryan succeed. This will be a benefit for them, so I don't think they're going to blow it. And if they do, they're morons. In your last few Q&As, I noticed two white dudes asking you questions about black dudes. Why don't they just ask a black dude? That's a good question. I have no idea, but if anybody does have questions about black men, ask a black man, because I'm not a black man. It's a given that I'm a black woman, so ask a black dude. And your third question for me is, what is your impression so far of the what has your impression of the WWE Network been so far? My only gripe is the WWE Network does not really do playbacks. Like, what I mean by that is they don't have stuff on demand. Everything is on a schedule. If I want to see WWE Countdown, I have to wait till 11 o'clock, and after it shows, I have to wait till the next day. They don't really have on demand to where that if you want to see it, you can play it whenever you want. They don't have it like that. That's the only gripe that I have about it. Plus, you don't have an option for the pay-per-views. If you don't want the WWE Network, you don't have the option to watch it on your cable or your satellite, because there's a chance they may not even be taking it anymore. Because that's the biggest problem that I have right now with TNA. Not only that, I have the biggest problem now with WWE with WrestleMania 30. They're not showing it. Dish Network is not showing WrestleMania 30. There's a chance that other satellite networks as well as cable networks are not showing it, which is a big problem for me, but that's another video all in itself. So I'm going to move on from there. But thank you, man, for sending me questions. Y'all check out his channel. The guy is absolutely, positively, 100% bona fide awesome. So please check him out. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my questions via Twitter. File limits, you sent me a few. Nintendo Fanboy, I'm going to finish you out, and then I'm going to try to get everybody in before the 15-minute mark. So let's get started with Nintendo Fanboy 1988. What do you think of Jeff Hardy's new gimmick that he's bringing to TNA of Willow? I don't know. It's the same old guy. I mean, he was in face paint before. Only thing different is he's wearing a mask. So I don't really care. It doesn't really matter to me. He still does the same move. So what's different? It's nothing really different for me. Just a different name for a different move. But good question, man. My next set of questions comes from Leon Pascaliote. Oh gosh. Look, dude, if you don't have any other questions to ask me besides anything about black people, please don't bother because I'm not a token black. I'm there's a lot of black people besides me. And not only that, if you got questions about black men, look, just don't send me any more black people questions. Seriously. I'm not even going to bother. I'm not even gonna bother answering these because I don't know whether or not you're trying to get a rise out of me, or I don't know whether or not you actually are curious about black people. I don't really know. But please don't send me any more questions about black people unless it's no, don't even send me anything in relation to black people. Just send me some questions that just send me other questions, please. But moving on from there, Follow Limits. Follow Limits sent me his first set, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started with that. What are your thoughts on Paris Hilton? Honestly, Paris Hilton was a person that was literally overdone, overused, over concept, over everything in the pretty much in the early 2000s, and it was to the point where she practically saturated the social media market. But now Kim Kardashian took her place. She's kind of on the back burner. She's kind of doing her things her own way, but she's not in the limelight anymore. I got no beef with her. And the fact that she's still a very successful woman and still has a whole truckload of cash waiting for her in her inheritance, you go. That's all I have to say. She made her name a brand just like Kim made her name a brand. Do what you gotta do. Um, what is the latest you've ever woke up? Oh man, I wish I can get up late. I know the latest that I've ever woke up was 10 o'clock in the morning. Frankly, because of the fact that I've had a really long work week and I was exhausted. And I practically didn't have a chance to rest. I had to get up pretty much at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. pretty much for almost a solid week. And I was literally tired. So I slept through the entire. I fell asleep at 8, didn't wake up till 10. I was exhausted. That was the latest I've ever slept, and I don't think that's ever happened since. I wish. Um, has any dream at night ever okay? Has any dream at night had ever felt so real? I don't know why I can't talk. Have my dreams been that lucid? Yeah, I have a lot of lucid dreams, and sometimes they're nightmares, sometimes they're dreams. There are times that I dream that I'm on the beach, and it feels like I'm on the beach. I can actually feel the wind hit me, and I can hear the waves and everything. I lucid dream a lot, so it's nothing that's unusual to me. But I will say that I literally woke up forgetting that I was in my house. I literally thought I was laying in the beach. That's just me. That's how I dream. But yeah. Thoughts on Buff Bagwell. He's okay. I like this hat. Buff Bagwell was a pretty good wrestler. I just didn't see much of him when I was I didn't see much of him, but honestly he wasn't a bad wrestler. He was okay. His gimmick was okay. It's just nothing to like really be wowed at. That's just me. Thoughts on Doink the Clown. I love Doink. I loved Doink back in the day. I loved his whole gimmick. I love the fact that he was a heel. I love everything about Doink. I thought he was like a pretty cool dude, especially little mini Doink that he came out with. Why are you so pissed off when the WWE used Paul Bearer's death in the storyline? Because it's disrespectful. I'm sorry. There is nothing respectful about what they did with Paul Bearer. Even though they said Paul Bearer gave permission, it's still disrespectful. For crying out loud, the man really died. Come on, have a bit of respect there. Stop trying to reach. You can, I mean, if you're that creative, and I mean, if your team is that creative to come up with a storyline, an interesting storyline that will catch people without having to use somebody else's real life trauma, then great, go ahead and do that. But if you have to use somebody's real life trauma just to get entertainment and get ratings, that's sad. That's sad. That's deplorable. That's disrespectful. That's everything all around bad. And that's why I was upset. It's just disrespectful. I'm sorry. The guy really died, for crying out loud. But anyway, I have a lot of time left, so I have 5 minutes left, so I'm gonna get your question out the way. What did you mean? Julianne Hough says that says what she thinks and don't care what people think. Example of this. Julianne Hough talked a lot of smack about people that she used to work with on Dancing with the Stars. She talked about how I think she talked like a lot of smack about them. And I can't remember what it is. I think the fact that they're saying that how mean they were to her, how disrespectful they were. You know, that she talked a lot of smack when she was on there on that show. And it seemed that she's pretty open. Not only that, the chick wore blackface. She had blackface for Halloween. That's somebody that really doesn't use their head when they go outside, or period, during the day. Why on earth would you dress up in blackface for Halloween? Yeah, that's pretty much what I mean by don't care. And also from the things that she said in the media about the people she used to work with, that's somebody that has absolutely positively no filter whatsoever. And my final set of questions comes from Get the Hook. What are your thoughts on TMZ reporting that Buff Bagwell is now working as a prostitute? Honestly, I had no idea. Seriously, I had no idea that TMZ did a report on that, and that is something I'm going to look up. And if that's so, that is just sad. That really is. But TMZ really has no shame. They don't. They will exploit somebody in a heartbeat just for ratings. What are your thoughts on Stone Cold Steve Austin domestic violence charges towards Deborah? Well, against Deborah. Honestly, I thought Stone Cold Steve Austin was the one doing the abuse, unless I got that whole question wrong. But it makes me sad. I really thought that Deborah was a really great woman for him. That somebody that actually did kind of match everything that he did. He's a redneck. She's from Texas. She likes hunting. He likes hunting. You know, he likes riding ATV. So does she. They just seemed like they were well put together, and it just made me really sad that it didn't work out. But I mean, that's just how it worked out. I mean, it really did make me sad, and I really wish it didn't go that route. I really wish that Stone Cold was able just to they were able just to be married to her for a little while longer. That's just me. Because I really did like them as a couple, but it's sad. I really think it was really sad. Do you think a large portion of the WWE roster is using steroids or any other illegal enhancement drugs, i.e., Antonio Cesaro, John Cena, Big E Langston, etc.? I think Big E is. You can kind of tell from his uniform. I hate to be mean, but yeah, it seemed like he's kind of roiding up. Antonio Cesaro, if he is, I can't tell. John Cena just has a body built like a Mack truck. Like, you can kind of, I mean, I guess what I mean is like when he was a child and getting older, you can kind of tell that his body kind of matched his frame. It wasn't anything exploit. I don't think he is using roids, but I really think that that's just how his body looks. But as for Big E, yeah, his uniform kind of tells a tale. I think dude is shooting. I think he's kind of, yeah, I think he is kind of roiding up. But I wouldn't be surprised because, shoot, Vince McMahon did that back in the day. You can kind of tell his head was bigger than his body. He did it while he was a commentator. So I really wouldn't be surprised if half the people in WWE are using steroids. Wouldn't be shocked at all because they have to keep a certain physique up. And it gets to them mentally and they have to do something to enhance themselves. And that's sad. But guys, thank you so much for sending me these questions. If you have any other questions for me, please send it to me via YouTube or my YouTube inbox or via Twitter at RKH30 #NatureGirlQ&A. This is Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.